You shouldn't be creating classes for everything. You create classes so that you could create multiple objects of that class. But if you want to create an object that you're going to use only one time, you shouldn't be creating a class for that. Let's say if you want to receive an object from an API, then you don't need to create a class for that. You can directly receive that object and use its properties. Let's create an object for a motorcycle. For that, I'm going to say let motorcycle equal to. Now I'm going to use curly braces in which I'm going to define my properties and functions. This motorcycle has three properties. The first property is type. Now to assign the value to type, I'm going to use colon instead of using equal to sign. The type of this motorcycle is sports. And to define the next property, I'm going to use comma here instead of using semicolon. We use semicolons for classes. The second property is its color. The color of the motorcycle is red. The third property is its price. And this motorcycle is $10,000. Now, if I want to access these properties, I'm going to follow the same syntax that I followed when I created objects from classes. So if I want to print the type of the motorcycle instead of grades of the student 2, I'm gonna say motorcycle. And when I hit dot, it's gonna list down all the properties of my motorcycle here. I'm going to select type because that's what I want to print. If I refresh the page and click on submit, it's going to print sports here. If I change this to color and then refresh the page and click on submit, it's going to print red here. You can also define functions in your object. Let's say if I want to get the price of the motorcycle in euros, I can define a function for that. I'm going to say get price. And I'm going to use colon here, and to tell that it's a function, I'm going to use function keyword. And in this function, I'm going to write a formula which will give me the price in euros. So I'm going to use return keyword, which will return the price of the motorcycle. And to access the current property, to access the property of the current user, I'm going to use this keyword here. So I'm going to use this dot price and then multiply that by 0.83 because that's the current rate, and then concatenate a message saying that in euros. And if I want to invoke this method, I'm going to follow the same syntax that I used for objects when we created them from classes. And now if I refresh the page and click on submit, it's going to print 8,300 in euros because the price is $10,000. You can also change the property values of your object. For that, I'm going to access my motorcycle, hit dot and change the price of the motorcycle to $7,000 and then call get price. Then it's gonna calculate the new value of my motorcycle and print it here in euros. So this is how you can use objects and define its functions and properties. In the next section, I'm going to talk about string methods.